Hey everybody. Hope everybody's having a good night tonight. As I've always said, my previous videos, it is Friday, December the 1st, 2023, 12:09 Pacific Standard Time. So, hope everybody's doing well. So, yeah. As I've said before, I live in Eastern Standard Time, so it's about 109 here in my time, but I work and I live in Pacific Standard Time, so it's 10:09, which is very early. So, yeah. So the world has gone crazy since I posted here last. You know, the whole Israeli Palestinian invasion and everything that's going on there. I'm not going to get into that. The whole Ukrainian Russian thing, like the Ukrainian almost begging for money from the United States because with the Israeli thing going on, the Ukrainians are no longer the center of attention. So poor Vladimir Zelensky, or whatever his name is, he's not at the center of attention anymore. He's not, and he's virtually begging the U.S. for money, even though the whole proxy war. Proxy war. That's all I'm going to say. I'm trying to stay neutral here, so that's all I'm going to say. Proxy war. So, we had a pretty good Black Friday sale this past week here in the United States. I picked up this like cool spider brand jacket. $200 MSRP, manufacturer suggested retail price. I got it for $40. Then I got another one in the car that was about the same price. This is a puffy jacket, so it's like synthetic, like down. It's really warm. I'm sitting out here in the garage. It's probably, I don't know, 40, 45 degrees. Let me check. Okay, it's a little bit warmer tonight, so it's like 60 degrees out here in the garage. So, yeah, it's pretty nice jacket. I'm very, very warm. I've been sitting out here for probably about three hours now, and I've been fine. So, yeah. I don't know really where to go with this video. I mean, I don't really want to talk about like the wars and like everything. I just wish people could just get along, you know, and most people do. There's a lot of YouTube channels of people that I follow that go around the world to different countries and stuff, and everything that they report back, you know, the people are good people, which I believe firmly, but the governments are bad. You know, whether it's Ukrainian, Russian, African, Syrian, Yemeni people, Dubai, Qatar, all the different countries and stuff. All the people there, they just want to fucking, excuse my language, they just want to fucking get along. That's all they really want. They just want to get along with everybody. But the stupid governments are the hindrance. They hinder everything. The governments hinder everything when it comes to people getting along. They block their media. They block free speech. They block Twitter or X or whatever. They block everything. They try to get the narrative that they want their people to see. You know, they block that. They block everything. And that's not the way the world needs to to run. You know, people need to be, they need to have freedom of speech. And that's why I love X. You know, like Elon Musk the other night or the other day. It's probably been 2 days ago now when I woke up one morning and it was like a speech that he gave, or like a talk that he gave with like MSNBC or CNBC or one of those channels where he basically, people are trying to make it sound like that he said, he told any advertiser who doesn't want to advertise with X to go fuck yourself. But that's not what he said. He said, any advertiser who wants to blackmail me, who wants me to bend, and wants me to repress the speech of other people, that's the people that he's told to go fuck themselves. He didn't tell everybody that. He didn't tell all advertisers, if you don't want to advertise here, then you can go fuck yourself. No, he didn't say that. He said anybody who wants to advertise here on X, but you want to blackmail me and tell me what I need to say, if you're trying to shape my narrative, go fuck yourself. That's what Elon said. That's what he said. So, and he was very clear. Then he like waved to like, he said, "Hey Bob Iger from Disney, who Disney like Bob Iger, I think it's Bob Iger, said he would like pull his ads off of X because Elon, you know, had a message that what didn't fit with what he agreed with or whatever." But then Bob Iger, I just saw a post on that Elon posted earlier. Disney, which is Bob Iger, I'm if I'm not mistaken, Disney gives like hundreds of millions of dollars to the Chinese, to like TikTok, to advertise on TikTok. Chinese Communist Party TikTok. And then they give X number of dollars to Instagram, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, to advertise on Instagram. And then they give a very small percentage to X, who stands for free speech, who wants free speech for everybody. Now, Elon did say that I will ban anybody who calls for the genocide of a race. So, like, if there's Israeli people who are saying that we need to wipe out the Palestinians, he will ban them. And then he also said, if there's anybody on the Palestinian side who calls for the wipeout of all Israelis, I will ban them. You know, he was fair. You know, Elon was fair. He said, I'm gonna ban or knock out, shadow ban, whatever, the speech of anybody who calls for the genocide of another people. That sounds pretty fair to me. Sounds pretty decent, you know. He's not banning the speech. The speech, it's still there. It's still posted on their profile for anybody who follows them and gets their feed. They can still see that, but it's not going to be amplified. It's not going to be promoted by X, by the system formerly known as Twitter. So, but that's fine to me, because those people are just bad people. You know, if anybody calling for the genocide of another people are bad people. I don't care what side you're on, whether you're Palestinian or Israeli. If you're calling for the wipeout and the genocide of any other race, you should not be promoted. You should not be amplified on any platform whatsoever. You know, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free or whatever. That whole saying is genocidal. I don't know if there's a similar one on the Israeli side or not, but Gaza, Gaza, the Palestinian Authority, and the Hamas and Hezbollah, who's supported by Iran, they had their chance for peace. You know, Israel back in like 2015, they said, "We'll get all our people out of Gaza. We'll evacuate like 10,000 Jews from Gaza, and we want peace. We want peace and stuff." And Gaza did not accept that. The people in Gaza, the Palestinian people, they voted Hamas into power. Hamas took power in the Gaza Strip and over the Palestinian Authority, the PLA, the old Yasser Arafat, which I brought up to some of my friends tonight when they asked me about the Palestinians. You know, good old Yasser Arafat. He was at least willing to meet and sit down and try to have some peace talks and stuff. Now, he might have been just trumpeting his own agenda. He may not have been like sincere about the peace or whatever, but at least he was able to sit down and talk about it. So, and like I said, in 2005, like Israel, like pulled like 10,000 Israelis out of the Gaza Strip and said, like, we're doing this for peace. We're only doing this for peace. And then Palestine immediately started firing rockets into Israel. So I'm not a big fan of the Israeli government either. They're not the best people. You know, they're not the best government ever. But everybody's trying at least a little bit. But that's enough on that. So yeah, I've just been watching some YouTube, the Cybertruck videos, Elon, go fuck yourself. Like I mentioned earlier, the go fuck yourself videos with Elon. And then there was the Starship launch this past weekend, which is really exciting. All, was it 33 the engines, all the engines lit up. They were all firing. They got into like suborbital. But then a lot of people on the left who were against Elon because of his politics or whatever, they tried to say, well, he failed. He had to blow up the rocket. No, they had a plan to blow up the rocket. If the rocket went off course a little bit, then they just blow it up. Do they want it to like hit the ground like in some place in South America or whatever? No, they blew it up. The booster rocket first. So they launched the Starship with the whole Starship stack. So it was the Starship booster and the Starship proper. So they launched it. It got all the way into like high levels. Then the booster detached, successfully detached. But then as it was detaching, it was a little booster jet or whatever, and it like malfunctioned a little bit, you know, a little booster rocket or whatever. When that was supposed to come back and land in the ocean. So that rocket malfunctioned, and they're just screw it, you know, as Elon would say, fuck it. And they blew it up. You know, that's the standard policy, is a unscheduled somebody mentioned this earlier when I was talking to him on the phone, a unscheduled demolition or whatever. So they blew it up. And then the Starship rocket itself, the first, not the booster stage, but the main stage went on for a while. It got up, if I remember correctly, it got up to about 130 kilometers into space. That's pretty high up. That's like halfway up to where the space station is or whatever. And then it malfunctioned a little bit. It was going off course a little bit, and instead of like trying to like struggle with it or whatever, they decided to do the unscheduled demolition. I need to find that exact phrase here. Hold up. Unscheduled. Unscheduled. Sorry about that. Here, I'm just Googling here. Rapid unscheduled disassembly. That's what it is. I just Googled it here. Rapid unscheduled disassembly. That's what they did on the first stage and the actual Starship itself. Once it was a little bit off course and they didn't want to fight with it. So um, that was, yeah, 12 days ago that was reported. So now I heard that they're going to be probably launching I think the last one was Starship 25. They're going to be launching 26 here, I think in December. Sometime in mid or late December. That's pretty exciting. So from the first rocket a couple months ago, that one out of the 33 engines or whatever, the Raptor engines, there was like 6 or 7 of them that did not light up. They did not go up, and they blew it up like right away. It was done. It was gone. The second launch, the one I just been talking about, all the engines lit up. They got up to suborbital over the the suborbital line. I forget what it's called now, but they got up over that, and then the Starship itself, they launched their vacuum engines and went further for a number of minutes before they did a rapid unscheduled disassembly of that. And so this next launch, they're going to take everything they've learned from the first and the second and combine that. So I really think the next launch is going to be into orbital, like in the orbital space. And then I think they've talked about doing like a moon mission. So I think the moon mission is going to be once they can get a Starship into suborbital with a tank full of fuel, then they'll send another one up. It'll link up with it, refuel, like the one that was shot up first will refuel with the one that was shot up second. And then they'll launch a trajectory toward the moon. And if I'm not mistaken, there was like a number of YouTubers. I'm thinking of like Everyday Astronaut and some other artists and cool people that Elon thought it would be like cool to take up on that mission to go. They're not going to land on the moon, but they're going to go into a lunar orbital insertion. So they'll go around the moon and come back to Earth, and then they'll do a soft landing or whatever with the booster. And if that doesn't work, they'll land in the ocean. They'll go out and recover them or whatever, just like they did during the Apollo missions. Because if they can't land on land, then they can easily just like quickly divert it over to land in the water, and then a ship go out and pick them up. So I think that's going to be awesome, because he's not sending. I think he's going to send up a few scientists, some artists, some musicians, some YouTubers, to really be able to like translate the experience of going into space, going around the moon, into like terms that people here on Earth can understand, not just like the old Apollo astronauts who were like NASA automatons or whatever. So I think that's going to be a really exciting mission. I'm hoping that takes place like sometime in like 2025, 2026. I'm getting old, man. Getting old. I'm going to be like 50 years old by the time that happens. I always joked around with my like daughters. I'm like, I told them like, you need to get into like the SpaceX, into the space area, so you can like, go to space. But then I sort of joked around that I worked here in a bar and in my town, and I've worked a number of odd jobs over the years, but I said that would sort of be cool to be, and it was part of Elon's joke when he had an interview once, like talking about a Mars bar, like the first bar on Mars. Um, yeah, I would be willing to be like a janitor or a busboy at the first Mars bar on the moon or Mars or wherever it might be. So before I get too old and die or whatever. But, knowing where technology is going these days, I might live to be 120, 130 years old. So who knows? So, hey, we're in exciting times, people. I don't think many people who are listening really have like a good grasp on where we are, but outside of everything I've talked about, like even like anti-aging technology and stuff, it's coming a long way. And there are like drugs and not just drugs, but just natural things that are gonna like be able to slow down, stop, and eventually reverse aging. So I might be lucky. I might be lucky. I watched a documentary. I think it was called The Immortals. The Immortals. There was a guy on a TED Talk and a few other people who were talking about immortality and the different technologies they were using to accomplish that. And this is probably 10 years ago, I guess, maybe 8 or 10 years ago. But they during that documentary, they actually said that there is somebody that has been born on Earth. So here in the last decade. So let's just take an arbitrary date, 2011. So there was somebody in 2011 who is going to live to be 1,000 years old. The person born in a person born in 2011 is going to live to be 1,000 years old, with the advancements in technology since then, and the ones coming up ahead of now. And that's exciting. I know a lot of you people out there who are watching this, you're tired. You think, I don't want to live to be that old. I don't want to live that long. But there's a lot of other people who do, and I'm one of them. I'm one of those people who, if I'm lucky enough to be able to live that long or to be able to gain that kind of immortality, yes, I'll sleep for a few years. I'll go to sleep for a couple years, but then I'll wake up as a new person. I'll still remember who I was, and I'll still remember the experiences that I had. But I'll wake up as a new person and saying, where can I take the knowledge that I gained in my previous existence, and how can I make that progress into the future? Stop thinking in small terms. That's what I'm trying to say to everybody. Stop thinking in like small, like me terms. Think about the future of humanity. Think about the future of the world, of our people, of humankind here on Earth. Think about where, with your lifetime of experiences, think about where you could possibly help out in advancing humanity to the next level. You may be just a bartender, like I said. You may just be somebody who's listening to people, but you've listened to all those stories, and it's made you wiser. And you can carry that experience on to other people. I've bartended. I've been in technology. I've worked for defense contractors. I've worked in customer service throughout my years and stuff. But I can take all those experiences that I've had with people, which some of them are great, so some of the most fulfilling experiences I've had, even over the past couple of months, have been with customers or clients or people that I've been serving here in my current position, and just like creating a good connection with them and building a relationship, and so on. And that's what humankind is all about, is building relationships with one another. So Imagine a whole lifetime of that. And if everybody got on board in that endeavor, that silly endeavor that I just mentioned, if everybody got on board, then think about where humanity could go. Um, if everybody just goes back to the root level of humanity that they've experienced in their life, and then advance that into the next generation, it would be insane. So I'm gonna drop out of here. I thought I was only gonna go for like 7 or 8 minutes. It's 25, 30, 25, 42. So everybody have a good night and peace out.